Hey guys, welcome back. It's Matt here, and boy am I excited to talk about WWDC. I mean, really, that was quite an event. There was actually a lot packed into there. New laptops, new macOS, new iOS, new watchOS updates, as well as, of course, iPadOS. So there's like a lot crammed in there. And I think the main thing that everyone really paid attention to was iOS 16 and some of the new lock screen features. Honestly, Apple haven't changed the lock screen in forever. They've never really changed the way it looks. It's always fundamentally looked the same. So the fact that they're bringing across some of the theming and options from the Apple Watch over to the iPhone feels rather refreshing. I personally cannot wait for next week to actually pick up the beta because I really want to try the lock screen features. I just think it's so cool the fact you can have multiple pages now, and each page can have its own focus modes with its own notification restrictions. And you can also set up different themes. So one lock screen can have a certain wallpaper with a certain clock, and then another lock screen can have a different style completely. So it really does feel like the Apple Watch. And with the Apple Watch, you kind of change the watch face, or I do anyway, to match what I'm doing. So if I'm going to some sort of formal event, I'll put on a more formal watch face. If I'm going to the gym or doing something a little bit more sporty, then I tend to put on a sports watch face. So I feel like that will definitely happen with iOS 16 and this new lock screen. I can definitely feel having complications for sports on one page and then having complications for work and things like that on another lock screen. So I'm really excited for that feature. Another feature they've added is the new iCloud shared album. So now all your friends can join one album, and then whenever you take a picture in your camera app, it's going to automatically go into the album and it's shared with everyone else. I think that's actually pretty cool. You could kind of have some dodgy stuff going on, you know, if you forget to change it to the non-shared album and then you take a picture of something you're not meant to take a picture of, and then it gets shared to everyone else. That would be a super awkward situation. And then something else a little bit sneaky is in the iMessage app, you can now go ahead and edit past messages, and also you can go ahead and recall them. So if you said something maybe you shouldn't have, you can now go back and change it. You can be a little bit sneaky about it, which I don't really know how I feel about that. It's kind of a bit of a weird one. Let me know what you guys think down below. I think one of the coolest things, if you're actually working and emailing a lot of people, is the new scheduled email feature. So you can actually schedule an email to be sent at a specific time and date. I feel like that would come in so handy because I'm always forgetting to email at a specific time. So to just have it scheduled, it would make life so much easier. Now, something else I found actually kind of exciting was the Apple Pay Later feature. So now you can actually go ahead and do the whole pay later thing pretty much anywhere. So anywhere you pay with your Apple Wallet, you can actually pay later in installments. And I think it's about 6 weeks. You pay back through installments and there's no fees. So you don't actually have to pay any interest as long as it's paid within the 6 weeks, of course. So I think that's pretty nice. A lot of people might make use of that if they don't have the cash right away and they're waiting for their paycheck. Then yeah, pay later could definitely come in handy. One of the things that really caught my eye was the CarPlay feature. So this just kind of screamed Apple Car when I saw this, but the fact that CarPlay is now extended to the actual display behind your steering wheel is super cool because now you can actually customize how your speedometer looks and how all the menus look. Honestly, this seems really cool. I don't know what cars will support this at the start, but just imagine you have like a whole software system in your car that's made by Apple. So you actually have your Apple Music, all of your notifications and things popping up on your speedometer with these sort of Apple themed speedos and stuff. That would be kind of cool, honestly. And having your complications and stuff behind your steering wheel, that sounds so awesome. The fact that Apple did that is actually really, really cool. And it does scream Apple Car. It just kind of gives you a little bit of a hint as to sort of what that Apple Car would look like. So now we're going to talk a little bit about the iPad. I'm super excited to see that the iPad is getting more like the Mac. I feel like Apple's end goal is to sort of have one product, which is the Mac and the iPad fused together into one device. It kind of seems like they're heading in that direction. Every year the iPad gets more like the Mac and the Mac gets more like the iPad. So it kind of seems to make sense that they would slot together at some point, right? But on the iPad, you can now have floating windows. So you no longer have to have split screen with just 2 applications. You can have multiple applications open at the same time in floating windows, and you can go and resize them. And you can also go ahead and have them grouped together at the edge of your screen. So this new macOS feature actually groups all of your application screens together at the side in this sort of new panel. I think it's actually kind of cool. They were previously in the dock and you just get a ton of clutter with all the open apps and all the open windows. So the fact they now have this dedicated panel for all your open windows is actually kind of nice. But something that felt so Mac-like was when they plugged the iPad into an external display, and it almost looked like macOS. It kind of looked like any sort of Mac computer, but it was actually an iPad plugged into the display. So hopefully one day it will pretty much just be like a Mac. So you plug your iPad in your display, you open up Final Cut, and you just go ahead and do all your Mac things, and then you unplug it and you have an iPad and you can play games, take it with you. That would be the ultimate goal. That would be the ultimate dream, the ultimate device. God, think about how much they would charge for that one device. But talking about expensive, they've now also brought out a new MacBook Air. So there's an M2 MacBook Air with a bigger screen than before. It's now 13.6 inches, and it's got that squared off design similar to the MacBook Pros that came out previously last year. So I have mixed feelings about this. It's more expensive, which kind of defeats the purpose of the MacBook Air. However, they are still selling that older version with the M1 chip if you still want that. I thought it was kind of sneaky they didn't reduce the price of that either. Like, it seemed like they would, right? But they're still charging the full price. I guess it's very Apple of them. But you do have the notch on the new MacBook Air. I really don't see why they need a notch because it's just a webcam. There's no sensors out there for Face ID, which is kind of odd. But apart from that, they brought out a new color, and obviously the M2 is more powerful. It didn't look that significant. It's maybe about 30% or slightly more faster than the M1. So now let's talk about macOS Ventura. So like I mentioned before with the iPad, they are bringing Stage Manager to macOS as well. So again, iPad and Mac are treated almost the same at this point. So they do kind of have very similar features. But yeah, you do have that Stage Manager similar to on the iPad. So now when you have a bunch of cluttered windows open, it's going to go ahead and group them together. It's going to actually remember where the windows were placed on your desktop, and it's going to save that state in the Stage Manager at the side. So you can actually jump between your desktops and all the windows will be in the same place, which is kind of nice. So another new feature is Spotlight Search has been improved. You can now do things like set a timer by just typing into the search bar, start a timer. So now jumping over to Safari, there's some new shared tab features. So I love shared tabs because, you know, everything under one topic is grouped together and I can easily find it. But now you can actually go and share that with your friends. So your friends can open up new tabs, they can edit existing tabs, and you can also collaborate together in one space. And something I'm excited for is the fact you can now use your iPhone as a webcam. So I actually have a Mac Mini, I have two displays, but I don't have a webcam, and it's kind of annoying. So now I'll be able to actually just use my iPhone. Belkin are bringing out some accessories, and you can just mount your iPhone at the top. Pretty nice addition. I'm glad Apple did that because it's a pain in the ass not being able to do that because it's such a great camera in the back of your iPhone. Why would I not want to use it for my Mac? Something I actually think is really useful, especially for people who are worried about family and maybe they're away on the other side of the country or abroad, is you can now track their medication habits. So you have the ability to scan in your medication, set up a schedule, share it with your family, and they can actually see if you've taken the medication. So maybe if someone's older in your family and they forget, you can go ahead and remind them, and the actual watch, if they have an Apple Watch or their phone, will ding and remind them to take the medication. That's actually really, really nice, especially for people who aren't well, who have a bad memory, and especially for family members who are just worried, you know? You really don't want to be worrying about family. It's just really stressful, and I feel like this feature could impact a lot of people. And something that is very Apple-y is they're now improving the security and privacy features with this new revoke access. So if you've shared your location or any sort of logins with anyone you know, including your partner or your friends, you can now at any point go ahead and revoke access to those features. So yeah, that's pretty much the gist of it. A lot was talked about in this event. So these are kind of the main things that I'm hyped about that I picked up on. But if there's any specific things that I missed, let me know down below in the comment section. I would be super hyped to read your comments and discuss it a little bit with you guys. But something else they actually brought, which was kind of cool, I guess, that I might use, is a handoff feature inside of FaceTime. So if you're FaceTiming on your phone, if you're in a document, you can now sort of pass it over to your Mac and get it on the big screen and stay in the call. That might be pretty handy, especially for people working at home. But that is overall sort of all the things I picked up on. So hopefully you enjoyed. I will see you guys later. Remember to subscribe, by the way. But yeah, peace.